And welcome to the show. Hi, it's 2022. How you do? We all made it. If you are within the sound of my voice, you have made it to another year. Happy New Year to all. And I wish everyone good health and big wealth in 22. We need to turn the corner and go into a different direction because 2021 was a mofo, if you know what I mean. I mean, really, COVID for 2 years, might be 3 years. It's been devastating worldwide. So to all you Americans that are feeling, woe with me and shit, it ain't just you. It's not just me. It's not just us. It's the whole world impacted by this. It's not your local government. Well, maybe, at fault to some degree, your local and state government and even federal government has dropped the ball. As I stated early on, in October, November, and December of 19, people were coming here in droves. Every plane from China was full, and everybody had a mask on. Now, I saw this as a professional driver in Los Angeles, picking up people at the airport every day. We didn't start talking about it, at least our federal government. Donald Trump was in charge at that time. He did not recognize or make reference to it until what? Sometime late January, February, and by March, all hell had broke loose. If we had been paying attention, and I find it hard to believe that at the federal government level, nobody knew what was going down. Nobody was paying attention? What were you, sleeping at the wheel? My dumb ass, I'm just a limo driver. I saw it. I didn't know what it meant. I didn't have the wherewithal, the authority to go in and dig in, but I just found it very, very odd that everybody coming in from China on the plane had on a mask. Now, it was not unusual to see 10 or 12 people because they got bad air over in China. So people in China are accustomed to wearing masks, but not everybody on the plane coming off the plane. So that tells you something. Something is not right. Then time goes on. This clown was impeached twice, not thrown out of the office, which should have happened. Had that happened, maybe we would not be where we are today. Had that happened, who's to blame for it not happening? The Republicans. They stonewalled the opportunity to get rid of Donald Trump. Twice. Now, most of them are still standing behind this guy. Why? Because they're punks. They're punks. They've been punked by a chump. This guy's not a big-time gangster. He's not Al Capone. He's not Machine Gun Kelly. He's a chump. He's a nerd. He's a loser. He's one of these guys. Been through what? 6 bankruptcies, several marriages, disrespect women. I don't understand a woman voting for Donald Trump. I don't get it. I don't get it. I really don't get that. After all the things that he's said and done to women, and then you're going to still line up behind him. Mystery to me. That's my little rant for tonight. But here we are on January 6, 2022, 1 year after the insurrection, the mob that took over the Capitol building. And it was promoted and instructed by our former president. He told them what to do. That's undisputable. It's a fact. Now, those who are still have their heads up his ass, you're bonehead stupid. You don't want to believe the truth because you're stuck on stupid. I'm just call it the way it is. You're stuck on stupid. All the evidence is there. Believe your lying eyes. Believe your lying ears. Believe it. He said it. You did it. Plain and simple. That being said, here we are. Hundreds of people have been indicted. Some have already been locked up. Not enough. Now subpoenas are going out for family members of the Trump organization. Is it too late? Have we wasted too much time? That's the question that many people are asking. I say no. Let's slow walk it. Let's be methodical about this. Dot the I's and cross the T's. Let's make sure that we don't slip up and make a mistake and this guy gets away. I think him and his entire organization and family members are all criminals. Even his wife is setting up for a divorce. She's talking about selling, things that she's acquired while in the White House, a hat. She wants $250,000 for some hat. I wouldn't give you 50 cents for it because it's been on your crackhead ass. Okay? It's worthless to me. Worthless. I wouldn't give you 50 cents for the hat or anything else that you got. So what is she doing? I'll tell you. She's trying to sell off to get cash so she can get loose. She knows the train is about to end. It's coming into the depot fast. She's trying to jump off the train before it's too late. But no, sister, you're going down with the train. You're going down with the rest. January 6, 22. 1 year after the mob almost overturned the government on the big lie, all based on the big fat ass lie. And there's still people believe that he won. No, he did not. Every state that has done the recount and the 3-4 times, not one result has come back different. Not one. There's been hundreds of lawsuits? Not one. Not one winning case. At some point, folks, you got to quit. You got to stop because you're stuck on stupid and you're looking like an idiot. And you're embarrassing. People around the world are just shaking their heads. I talk to foreigners every day. I pick up people coming in to LAX almost every day from all parts of the world. And those that engage in any kind of political conversation, they all just shake their head because I don't know what's going on here in America. This is crazy. I can't believe what has been going on. Good, you got rid of this guy, but still, why are we still dealing with him? Because we won't stop talking about him. Because he stays in the media. Now, did you know that this guy had the audacity to want to have a press conference on January 6th? First of all, chump, you're not the president anymore. Nobody gives a damn what you're talking about. Fortunately, people around him told him, "No, man, it's a bad idea. Don't do that. You can't do that." So he moonwalked away, and not one network agreed to carry the coverage on him. That's what we should have been doing all along. Shut him down. Shut him down. Then he'll go away like a little bad boy, take his little ball and go home. Bye-bye. Let me introduce the rest of the team. And I haven't been on here for a few weeks. That's why I wanted to get my little rant in there before we got into the meat and potatoes of the show. But thanks to all of you who have supported us and being here every week. We love you and appreciate you. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to whichever outlet you're watching us on, whether it's Facebook, we're not on Instagram right now, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. So thanks to all of you who are watching us right now. And don't forget to go ahead and hit subscribe. Let's jack those numbers up and share it. Share it with your friends. With that, let me bring in the crew. Let's bring in Reverend Dr. Professor Reggie. What's up, Reg? Happy New Year.
What's going on? Haven't seen
Everything's good.
I haven't seen you since last year.
Isn't that something?
Man,
I'm sorry, man.
Man,
my apologies.
But it's great. It's great to have you back at the helm.
Good to be back. And good to be seen.
That was a great rant.
Thank you.
That was a great
I hope I made sense.
Oh, yeah, it was perfecto. It was great.
Thank you.
I was just able to, I'm sitting down here thinking about this. I said, yeah. And then as it was last year, I'm still gonna come out with the same thing. How's your funkin' telekey?
It's 22 and fired up, ready to go. Good seeing you, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks.
Here's Nanook from the north.
Well,
looking like a Russian.
I just wanted to make a fashion statement going into 22. This is the appropriate attire for Chicago and most of the United States at this moment.
Yeah.
Something with some fur and a lot of linings. Okay.
You
gotta have it. This is a warning. Do not come to Chicago with less than that, because you're gonna be definitely in trouble.
Yeah,
and I too,
absolutely right.
I too like that rant you just gave.
Thank you.
As a matter of fact, I'm gonna rant some more about it as we proceed.
I kind of set you up for that, so
yes, sir.
Do your thing, Chicken Wing. Mike Love is in the house. What's up?
I was talking to Antonio Brown, man, and he told me to go against the odds. He said, man, you got your own intro, man. Why you got to be dealing with the Lee Michael stuff?
Everybody listen to Mike.
So I'm going Buccaneer on your ass. You know what I'm saying?
Everybody listen to Mike.
That's it. All right.
Oh.
Happy New Year.
Help.
He said Antonio Brown.
Antonio Brown said, man, play your own intro.
Wait a minute. If you're going to do that, you got to flip your shirt off and throw it up and to the audience and all of that stuff.
No, don't do that.
No. We ain't doing no man boobs on the show tonight. It ain't going to happen. Okay?
Don't do that. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Speaking of crazy, here's Buck Wild.
I would pay cash money to see Mike do that right now.
Oh, God.
Oh, he ain't got no money, Mike. He ain't got no money.
No, I didn't say a lot of cash.
He ain't got no money.
He ain't got no money. I was getting ready to whip that bad boy. I was going to put the right one on.
Don't do it, Mike.
I bet you were.
Don't do it. He ain't got no money, Mike.
Hey, listen, a quick warning tonight. I have not had any alcohol, so I may not be quite as crazy and funny as I would normally be. Wow.
Somebody told Buck he was funny. Wait a minute.
However, I did bring a book, so when Ron does his topic, I'll be ready.
There you go.
Oh.
There you go.
Save us, Chris Bay. Save us.
Yeah.
I can't save y'all. I can't do it. It's like the old song, Captain Save a Hoe. I can't save y'all hoes. I can't do it.
Hoes need love too.
Hey, man, but once again, the echo everybody was saying about Lee, we missed the rant. And I know I do. I know everybody else does. It's always great to have
Absolutely.
you back here. Oh, fearless leader. Happy New Year to you and
Thank
everybody
you.
here on
You
the panel.
too.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yes,
man.
sir.
Put the microphone down. I mean, put the steering wheel down to pick up the microphone.
And what was
Oh,
really
yeah.
funny about the rant is he says, and the reason why is because we keep talking about it. Like,
Yeah,
you
that's
keep
true.
talking about it, Lee, right now.
Well, see, that's my rap. I'm done. I'm done. No more. I will not mention that man again in 22.
I thought when he
I'm
got
not doing it.
I thought when he got out of office, without we're done with him.
Well, I did. I kind of backed up, quite a bit because I was on him like white on rice for a while. But I just think the more time we give him, it keeps him alive. So put him on ice, let him die, and over.
That's why I wish everybody would forget about him. Like, is there like some sort of voodoo spell, Ron, where we can put it on him, like, make everybody forget?
It's not gonna happen.
Okay. I know you know about that voodoo stuff with all the women that you used to do.
You know what? And Mike, I don't know how often you get a chance to talk to people, as you're rolling around, but every now and then somebody will strike up a conversation and it kind of leads into politics. I try to stay away from it the best that I can, but I'm a sucker for it.
Sometimes it's fun. Huh?
Yeah. But you know what I find interesting is when people want to engage and they start talking about COVID and why, it's not that big of a deal and whoop-de-whoop-de-woo. Most of them, if not all of them, are Trump supporters, number one. Number two, or highly misinformed about COVID. And one lady just yesterday, I picked her up in a rural area near Barstow, California, as I was headed to Vegas from LA. And I decided to turn the Uber app on and see if I could pick up some rides. I think I picked up 4 or 5 rides on the way. But the last ride was the most interesting one, I'll say. And she was a prime example of a very, very ignorant to the facts type person. And she just didn't understand. And I went into some very patient, detailed description about how this thing started, where it came from, the kind of impact that it's has had, and what may be next. She didn't seem to know any of that. But she was one of those who said she's not going to get vaccinated. But her son died from it. Her son died from it.
That's sad.
That took the cake for me. And I turned around. Your son died from COVID? Yeah. I said, how old was he? 24. I said, so your 24-year-old son died from COVID, but you won't take the shot.
And he wasn't vaccinated either, was he?
No.
Big surprise. Yeah. Hey, but let me tell you.
I don't understand.
But let me tell you, we think that it's all just a bunch of ignorant people who just don't know, right? Well, my lady friend, I don't say girlfriend because, she's a woman. My lady friend used to do research on RNA, which is the basis for these vaccines. And she won't get vaccinated because she says this RNA stuff is not a real vaccine. So she doesn't trust it. And she's very, very well educated. She's got her PhD. She's very well educated and, or doctorate. It's not a PhD, she's a doctor. But, man, and I can't convince her to take the vaccine. She's
an MD?
Doctor of chiropractic and and a holistic healer.
Okay.
So she's really into all that. She's really into all that, and I don't really care.
Do you kiss her?
About all that, of course.
I say cut his microphone off right now before we get it.
Yeah, okay.
Hey, Chris, make a judgment call.
All right.
Yeah, Lee got it. He got the controls, man. Yeah.
All right.
No, but I'm saying it's just not.
I'm gonna give one command. Mask up.
It's not. It's what I'm saying though. It's not.
Mask up.
it's not just ignorant people that are
Well,
with that like that. I started saying
ignorant
it's
to
not
the
just ignorant
facts.
people who are ignorant.
They can be highly educated and still ignorant to the facts. You know, now one could argue with me about, well, what are the facts? What we know. What is being reported? Those are the facts.
Well,
Now
like I said,
it's up to you what you want to believe.
hey, I'm vaccinated, so I believe what I see on TV and what I know to be true. But like I said, a lot of people, they're not ignorant. You'd be surprised how many people are not ignorant. But and she may be unusual in that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I'm just saying that people
Look at
aren't
it
as
this
stupid
way.
as you think.
Look
Not
at
all of them.
all the people in the military. When they have to go to a foreign country or whatever, they all have to get vaccinated. Several different vaccinations, right? They ain't got no choice. They've got to do it.
World-known diseases in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah. No
I know
choice
Ron's had
whatsoever.
half of them.
Yeah, no
We
question. No,
we have basically eradicated polio.
Mhm.
Now I got the little scar on my shoulder. I was 4 or 5 years old when I
we
got
all
it.
do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There's some people that don't have it. They stop doing it after a while
Wow.
because they got it under control. I was talking to someone that just last week, last week about polio, and they didn't even know anything about it.
Right.
And they were in their mid-20s. Polio, what's that?
Yep.
Now I understand shingles is on the rise.
Yeah. Now
And measles came back too, didn't they?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the polio thing was a big deal in the 50s and 60s. Am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think I was 5, so it must have been 1955 when
Well, don't start lying on your age. You know, in the 60s, you were about 15.
Mike,
Okay, I'm sorry. 16.
you're lucky you were in Texas. Because I would come over there and slap the taste out of your mouth. When you wake up, you will have missed a birthday.
Please, damn it.
But
You're gonna make me go violent.
Yeah, but speaking on the military part of it, I know for a fact when you first enter into your physical,
Mhm.
when you're getting ready to enter into that hell they put you through called basic training, they give you a shot in each shoulder with a gun. You know, and then they just send you on. They don't even tell you what they're giving you a shot with. They just shoot
Ain't nothing
you.
you can do about it.
Right. You just shoot you with everybody with the same gun, and they send you on down that little corridor that you got to go get on your airplane or your bus or wherever you going, and that's it.
That's right.
Don't
Another one,
even
sickle
know.
cell.
So they don't use needles? They use a gun? What kind of gun
Yeah, they
do
have
use?
a some type
The gun
of
has a needle in it.
injection.
Yeah,
has
it's
injection,
high pressure needle gun kind of
not
thing.
just
I'd
one
say,
needle,
it's
but
got-
multiple needles.
Multiple.
It's a
Yeah.
bullet
Right.
with medicine in it. I'm like, what kind of?
Yeah, when
no,
if you look at the actual scar, Ron is
Yeah.
correct. I mean, you'll see all the points that it hit.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah,
in
that was a polio
circulation.
shot. Was that way? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and the polio. I think you had 2 shots to deal with polio, didn't you?
I
You
don't
had one,
remember.
and then
I remember
you had
one.
another.
One was enough for me. I
Yeah, well,
remember it very.
one of them made your arm swell up. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
I went to Children's Hospital in Norfolk, Virginia. That's
yeah.
where I got my shot for polio.
Wow.
Yeah.
And a lot of people bring that up now when they talk about the vaccination that's being offered at the moment. We didn't know what was in those vaccinations back then,
No.
but yet our parents were required, mandatory, to get those. You had to have shot records.
Yeah, you couldn't go to school without it.
Exactly.
But I think
Yeah.
society in general has just become a lot more distrustful.
With social media. I mean, that's what it's all about. I
Yeah.
mean, social media controls the narrative to everything that is opposed to us.
There's a lot of BS on social media. That's the
Well,
problem.
but it's uncontrollable.
Because every idiot can get a microphone and camera and go online and give their opinion. Right, Professor? I know you're chopping at the bit to say something. You're about to explode.
Oh no, man, I'm being cool. You know, I don't want Buck to get upset.
Buck confessed to us earlier he has no reason to be upset because he hasn't had his upset medicine.
Yeah. Well, it's all right. Well,
I'm a lot more in control today.
Yeah, he's in control.
And I will not be as funny today either, by the way. Now, if we had some women on here, somebody got a woman to come on here. If you're a woman and you want to come on here, let's share the link.
Why don't we bring
Let me say
How
this
come we
up
can't have
front.
your woman on here?
Right, but very good point, Mr. Mike Love. But I will never, ever bring on a female guest ever again on this program. Never, because
as long as
Buck Wild was slobber knocking.
Thanks to Buck.
I was not.
Thanks to Buck. Yeah, we got. Let's go to the video.
Thou exaggerated.
but wait a minute. I want you to. Now, in the stuff that we eat that you eat every day, do you know what's in it?
Yeah, there's a thing called a label with ingredients on it.
No. Do you know what's in it?
Is that real?
I mean, yeah.
We really know.
But do you know what's in it? So I mean, like I say, when it came to the vaccination for me and all that stuff, I was the first one in line. I told y'all that. My position never. Look, if I'm going out like that, I'm going out. But I was the first one, and the second time I told him, I went in there like James Brown. I need them hits. Got the same one. Hit me. And then when it came down to the booster, I did the same thing. What I found to be really really fascinating is the people that as soon as something happens to somebody, and then if they say, well, did he have a shot or did he have not had a shot? And if somebody had a shot, then first thing they say, well, you see it COVID. I say, wait a minute. I had to stop. I was talking to somebody the other day, because a good friend, one of the church members expired. Okay, he died. Okay, and then it all came down to the blaming of the shot. And so, I couldn't go along with that because I'm still alive. It worked for me. Okay, it worked for me on all three occasions. It worked for me, and y'all know from the time when we was talking about it, while people was doubting it, I was there.
You was there.
I was.
Yeah,
there.
you were on the front line. I just got my booster.
Yeah.
This past Monday.
So I don't.
I'm all shot up.
I don't know what's in it.
I'm all shot up.
What's in it? All I know is that I'm protected. And
well, you know what's interesting, Professor, is when I got my booster. It was actually, I guess it was last week, because the lady that gave me the shot, she says, well, sir, you're good for this year. And I looked at her and said, what the hell you mean by that? She says, well, next year might be another one.
It'll be something else. That's right.
Right. I said, well, thank you very much.
They said that in the beginning.
Yeah.
They said every
It could be an annual thing, just like a flu shot.
Yeah,
now, have you guys had flu shots?
I have.
I only got the flu shot one time, and you know what? It worked. I wasn't sick for like a year and a half with anything.
Yeah.
So why did you only do it one time?
Lazy.
Oh, okay. Well, that's honest.
Yep.
So
Mike, you've had the flu shot?
Yes, I had the flu shot about 90 days ago. Mm-hmm. As a matter of fact, I was at the doctor, just a routine checkup, and I thought she was finished because she had left the room, and then the nurse practitioner came in and had this little tray, and I was like, okay, what do I need to do now? She says, well, Dr. Bobby, I want you to have the flu shot. I didn't even question it. I just took it. And in the very beginning, when they were talking about COVID and the vaccines and that kind of stuff, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I took it immediately. I was in denial about it. But at some point, being that I was an emergency medical technician at one time and owned an ambulance service, I saw a lot of people sick. And when they show people in ICU on a respirator turned upside down in the bed to breathe, that was a convincing point for me. You don't ever want to be that sick that you can't breathe on your own, number one. And number two, they got to flip your bed upside down.
Yeah.
That's crazy. You know,
It
so
is.
Hey, I saw a picture on Facebook of a guy. He was a bodybuilder, and he went in, got COVID, went in, and when he came out, he was. I mean, he didn't have no fat on him to begin with, and he came out and he was 30 pounds lighter and had a big hole in the side in his abdomen area for when they fed him. So he had a feeding tube and had a slit right here for the breathing tube.
Yeah.
yeah, esophagus.
I was like, okay, time to get a shot now.
Yeah. What else do you need at that point?
I know. It was like, man.
Yeah. Family members dying and you still won't get
And
vaccinated.
then, wait a minute, bodies in the freezers. They got freezer trucks.
Yeah,
these people-
I mean, that's true. I do. When the virus first came out, I was talking to a Republican friend of mine. He's like, "Oh, it's a hoax. It's a hoax." I said, "Really? So all those bodies that are in outside of the morgues and freezers outside the morgues because they're so full, those are all fake bodies?"
Right. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I mean,
Well, they died from something else. It was a heart attack.
Right.
See, they always have a stupid argument with what they want to believe.
Now, mind you,
More people die from the flu than from COVID-19.
Now, mind you, though,
No.
mind you, they do tell the hospitals, or the hospitals tell their staff, almost anything that comes in, make it COVID so we can get more money. That is some truth to that. So the numbers might not be as high as they seem, because they're trying to get more money from the government. But
I think those numbers were pretty serious and pretty
Well, they
high.
are serious. They are still
when you
serious,
looked at
though,
the news channel and you got millions of people dying. I mean, that's one thing to sensationalize something, but that was some real stuff. And we live in a country that's politically corrupt. That's what the problem really is.
and morally corrupt.
Yeah, well, politically corrupt because they play the political game with people. It's just like you were talking about. Lee was talking about the lady that was in the car with him. A lot of these people don't even believe the rhetoric that they hear, but they look for the support. Everybody sympathizes for support. And so what happened with that administration that we had after President Obama, Bannon showed that president that there are people out here that don't have a voice. And when they gave a voice to those people, I'm not going to say that they were crazy about this person and the president that was elected. That's why he didn't get reelected, because if his popularity had been as high as we give him credit, he would have got reelected. And it didn't happen.
Plain and simple.
Plain and simple. But he gave a voice. Go ahead, Professor.
Yep.
Y'all, we keep discussing the mental state or whatever, or these people, whatever. And just let me ask you all a question. Have you ever been able to convince a drunk of anything?
Besides, they need more alcohol?
Right. Have you ever been have you talked? I mean, take Buck for example. When he's drunk,
alcoholic. Yep. For sure.
No, well, listen,
prime
Buck,
example.
Right.
When you talk,
oh my God, not the finger. Come on, man, don't do that.
Not the F you.
when you talking to somebody that has been drinking and they are inebriated. I mean, you can look that in the eyes, man, and you can tell them all the logic or whatever, but it's just not going to register. And that's what was happening to these people over this individual. Now, y'all know I stopped talking about that, because there's power in the tongue, right? But every time you look around, every 5 minutes, somebody was saying, saying that name. And if you keep giving an alcoholic liquor, what are they gonna do?
Get drunk.
They're gonna be drunk.
Yeah, I'm sorry. What did it for me was take Buck for example.
You're right. I thought that was a hell of a reference.
Was a good one.
loved
I'll
it.
give you that. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was a good one.
That was.
That
That was a good setup. That was a good setup,
That
Doctor.
was a good one. You can't
Good
top
one,
that one
Professor.
right there.
Yeah,
Good one.
that was the setup of all
Andrews was
time.
saying on there that the hospitals get $39,000 for each COVID case. Buck, he's agreeing with you on that, and funeral homes get $9,000, and any family who claims COVID can get around $6,000. Yeah, all of that is probably
Yeah, it was somebody in
true.
the hospital. Somebody who works in the hospital told me that.
Yes.
So
Fine. I don't have a problem with that.
No problem.
but listen, it costs money to take care of sick people.
Yeah.
So
Or
you know,
people who pass
if
on.
that's the cost,
Yeah.
you know, I
But-
want you to spend as much money as you can to save my ass. So
But hospitals are straight up greedy. Their greed is
No question.
unprecedented.
Yes.
no
It is
question.
ridiculous. So
There's
one
big
time
business,
I
big
had
gangster business.
I had kidney stones once, and
Did you pass them?
yeah, the
Or just
urologist. Yeah, well, you know, it was just kidney stone. The urologist told me to go
tough
get
guy.
a CAT scan, right? So I was going to get it done there at the hospitals at Piedmont Hospital. We'll go get it done there. Do you know it was like $6,000, $7,000, $8,000? I was like, so of course I'm not gonna pay that and I don't have insurance. So at the time I didn't have insurance. So I found a place that did it for like $300-$400. And I told the urologist, I'm like, this is ridiculous. Why would you send me to go get a CAT scan at the hospital? He said, well, hospitals tend to charge 20 to 30 times more than it actually costs.
Yeah, because you know, if you have insurance, the insurance company is going to negotiate it down.
Right.
So that's all
20
the
to
headroom.
30 though. I mean,
Yeah.
and then he says, okay, well, now look at your CAT scans. It's you got 2 kidneys full of stones, so you're going to need a lipotripsy. Do you know how much the lipotripsy was? $25,000 per kidney.
Wow.
I said, are you crazy? I'm just going to be passing some stones then. And I
So-
listened,
so-
and I didn't even pass any more. So I passed that one stone, hadn't seen one since. I'm like, this son of a bitch was just trying to get some money out of it. And my girl was saying that there's a good chance that he was one of the investors in the machine that does the lipotripsy.
So question, Buck. Now, when all these medical issues that were going on with you, was that after Obamacare had came into existence?
Yes,
So why didn't you sign
I
up
tried to get
for
Obamacare.
affordable?
I know I did get
Affordable
Obamacare. It was
insurance.
$500 a month.
Okay.
But that was based on your income.
Right, I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Okay. But they had other plans available. I mean, they had plans that fit everybody's, income.
You would think, and if I could afford one of them, I would have gotten one of them, but they were $500 a month.
But let me say this to you. Okay, so I just got back on healthcare.gov. I'm paying $183 a month. I had to let them know what my income was, and it just passed the other day because I get Social Security and I get a pension from working in New York. And I'm at 183. So once again, like I said, if you were at 500, then 9 chances out of 10, there was something there that was showing income to them that was higher, and maybe you didn't see it, or maybe you didn't know.
It was. I didn't have any income at that. I was unemployed.
That doesn't make any sense.
I know. I said the same
And I was
thing.
on it.
And
That's
then I
just the
talked to a
second
friend
time
of
I've been
mine.
on.
Well, I talked to a friend of mine who sells insurance. She says, "Oh yeah, if you don't have any income, you don't get any kind of subsidies whatsoever." I'm like, "Oh, that's just wonderful."
You could
I
be
know.
right. I don't know.
That don't sound right.
It was.
it doesn't sound right.
I didn't think so either.
One of the reasons for that whole program was to make healthcare affordable for everybody.
Yeah,
That's
but
what it's called, affordable
catch-
healthcare.
But the catch
Yeah,
is, if you don't have no income, they think you're a bum.
Well, it doesn't matter what they think as long as you can get the health care you need.
I couldn't.
you
I
know,
couldn't.
at
That's
an
the whole thing.
affordable price.
Like
You
I ain't
know,
got no money
because-
coming in. How am I gonna get $500 a month?
Well, I mean, you probably were looking in the wrong place to get what you were looking for. Now, you probably could have went locally and applied, for. Have you been in the military?
No.
Okay, so you couldn't go to the VA, but I'm sure they have some charitable.
You could go to
hospital.
AA.
You you have some charitable hospital services in
Go to
your
the shelter.
community, and they would have helped you out.
Hey,
That's the
Ron,
point that I'm
Ron,
making.
I don't think
Uh-huh.
I'm that stupid. I think I'm a
Well,
fairly smart guy who does a lot of research. If there
Okay.
was a way that I could have gotten some health insurance that I could afford, I would have gotten it.
There's no charity hospital in the area where you live at.
Charity hospital?
Yeah, like in New Orleans they call it charity, and in Illinois they call it county care. I mean county. I'm sure every state or every major city has a hospital that provides medical care to anybody that
indigent.
asks for it. Yeah,
Oh,
for
and
anybody
maybe
that
they
asks
do.
for it.
Maybe they do. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, you have to check the plans. When you go to healthcare.gov, I mean, it's a numerous amount of plans. In my particular situation, I was paying $387 a month, and that was with Nat General. And so it was to the point I lost a couple of clients over the last 6 or 8 months, and I said, "Hey, Dr. Bobbian, I can't pay this." And so, ironically, one of the nurses in there says that she's on healthcare.gov and she uses Oscar. I had never heard of Oscar before.
Mhm.
And so I signed up for Oscar at $183. And I think the other one I was looking at was around $300 or $400. But once again, like I said, they approved me and she takes Oscar. So I'm okay.
And there was one plan that was it was less than 500. Let's just say it was whatever you say, 183. Let's say it was 200-300. It paid for nothing, number one, and the deductible was like $7,000. I'm like, well, what's the point in
there
having
you
it?
go right there. See, you were trying to cut that's the give and take. Yeah,
What's the point in
that's-
having it if it's going to be if the deductible is going to be $7,000? You ain't got $7,000 and you ain't getting nothing.
Well, that's true. But if you go to a hospital for care, they can't turn you down.
Right, they're
Right,
gonna
but they
bill
do.
you for
But
it.
they do bill you
Right.
for it, and then you got that bill hanging over your head for the rest of
you
your
can't
life.
get blood from a turnip.
Well, but when you do get money, and I wasn't planning on being broke forever.
And
You eventually got to pay
and
it.
you still ain't got to pay them.
But you can get a kidney stone from a penis.
And you know what? And it hurt coming out, but when it came out, I was so happy.
Yeah.
Thank the Lord.
I've
You
had
not be able to get blood from a turnip.
I've had them 3 times.
Prove it.
Are you
You
serious?
get a kidney stone from a penis.
3 kidney stones.
No way.
That shit is painful.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
drink a lot of
Right.
water and watch your diet. Don't eat a lot of fried
Right.
chicken.
Right.
Hey, I
Bro.
love fried chicken.
Me too,
Yeah.
but I stopped eating it, and I haven't had a stone
Yeah.
since then.
Oh wow.
Hey,
Well,
hey.
and I'm sure if you keep on looking, they'll have a plan that fits you, or either like you said, just go to the hospital and tell them I ain't paying you nothing, and they still gonna take care of you.
Professor been trying to talk for a minute. Go ahead, Professor. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get all in your way.
I just want to ask: have we ever discussed how much money is involved with this COVID vaccine and stuff? How much it costs for them to produce it, and who's paying for all of this stuff, or how much?
You are.
Government,
Your tax
Government.
dollars.
You are.
government is subsidizing this whole process.
Yeah.
Right.
But how much did it cost?
Billions of dollars, last I heard.
Yeah. So, cause I'm one of them conspiracy theorists, right? So the backroom pharmaceutical people say, well, yeah, we got to come up with something because we want some paper. So they coming up with this something and say getting this government to pay 8 billion and that government to pay 9 billion and because the biggest industry in the world, the largest is what? The drugs, right?
Insurance.
Yep.
Is insurance or is it the pharma?
Insurance.
No, I think it's insurance first. Yeah.
Okay. So then the drugs is second.
It's in the top 5.
It's up there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's how that game is going for them to try to increase their profit margins, and we just guinea pigs on this here, because this is a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Oh yeah.
Okay, speaking of money, how are we all feeling about the government spending so much money that we ain't bringing it in, and all this deficit spending? Do we all know where the money's coming from?
Let me ask a question, Buck. Who's saying that it's deficit spending?
Our deficit keeps going up.
Which side is saying that? Is it the
Both of them.
Demcons?
That's not a secret.
Is it the Demcons or the Repcons? Who's saying?
Both of them.
Okay.
Yeah, everybody knows we haven't had a balanced budget since Clinton. What?
Well, what are you going to do about it? What can we do?
Well,
What is the solution to this problem?
Okay,
Bring
so
back FDR.
So the
Bring
money
back
comes.
FDR.
The money. Everybody thinks that money comes from China or whatever. China only owns a small portion of our debt. Most of the money comes from bonds. So they sell the bonds, and people buy the bonds, and that's how we get this money. So they own a piece of the government, technically, I guess. So they're like, what if we had to, what is it? Cash? We had to cash in all our bonds all at once or whatever? What's going to happen then? That's not going to happen. But the debt keeps just going up and up and up and up and up, and the interest on the debt alone at some point is going to be really close to our gross domestic product. At that point, it's like, so we're just basically, remember those interest-only loans back in the day?
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be like that.
Well,
But the crazy,
I'm just wondering.
go ahead, Ron.
Well, basically, if you stop giving the billionaire population of this country all of these tax
breaks. Oh.
Yeah, there you go.
Then you're going to generate money to take care of the deficit that keeps rising and coming into play. So this is allegedly, and I'm using this very, very loosely, we have more millionaires and billionaires in this country than anywhere else in the world. And one of the problems is that we keep giving them breaks.
We're also one of the most populous countries in the world too.
Okay, but we keep giving them breaks, waiting on the trickle down effect that Reaganism had talked about for so many decades. Well, if we give all the rich people the money, then we should be okay. When it trickles down to where we are, the little people, okay?
I don't think anybody really believes that, though, Ron.
But that's what they preach
Some
all
people
the time,
do.
bro.
I don't think most people believe it. I mean, I think most people know it's a joke.
They preach that all the time. They preach it. Well,
they used to. They don't really preach that anymore.
Yeah, they do. They did it the whole time that 45 was in.
I don't remember that, but I maybe remember.
Because that's why he gave the first tax break that he gave. Because he was under the, this whole big umbrella that we're going to give all of these tax breaks to all of the affluent.
Well, I think, no. You know what? Let me correct you. He said, I'm going to give a tax break to Americans. And basically, he was selling it on saying it's going to be for the middle class. But it turns out that it wasn't really for the middle class. It was really more for the rich people. That's who ended up getting it. But he sold it as saying this is going to be a tax break for the middle class. And one of the worst things about this country is the fact that we pay such low taxes, and Americans don't want to pay any more taxes. Now, granted, I don't really want to pay any more taxes either. But if the countries that really take care of their people, England, a lot of the European nations, Canada, they're 50% and higher for their tax rate.
But okay,
so that's why they have the money to take care of their people, because they tax at a higher rate, and the 50% taxes will never go here ever.
But who was the billionaire that said? I think it was Buffett. Was it Buffett that said that his secretary pays more in taxes than he does?
Yeah, it was Warren Buffett.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's a billionaire that said that the tax rate is not fair.
He be keeping it real too. I love Warren Buffett.
Okay. All right. So I mean, when I say
here's a solution. Warren Buffett, you should have hooked her up with your tax guy.
Right.
Plain and simple.
She doesn't qualify. She more than likely doesn't qualify for all the tax breaks that he gets.
Well, there's got to be something to help her. Give her some more money.
Yeah.
increase
Right, there you go.
increase her income so that she can
he
get the
made-
tax
but he
deduction.
made a
And her taxes
very-
go. But when you do that, her taxes go up. She pays more in taxes.
All right,
Well,
but
he's making a gazillion dollars and he pays no taxes. So how can you get everybody else at that level? The only way that's
well-
going to happen is the
Mhm.
tax structure has to change.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
But
Yeah.
That's
who's going
it.
to do that?
Well, none of these punks in Congress right now is going to do it, because if they were going to do it, they would have done it.
Do you
So
know
we
why?
need to
Do you
vote
know
them
why?
out and put people in, common people, not lawyers and doctors and investment banker types. These people don't give a damn about you.
Do you know why Europe and these countries that take care of the people, why they do that?
It's the
Because
right
if-
thing to do.
No, that's not it at all. The people there, they run the politicians. The politicians are scared of the people because the people will passionately run those polls and vote them out. Here, the people are scared of the politicians because the politicians, all they got to do is go and redistrict and pick their own voters, and they can stay in office as long as they want.
Well, there's no
That's a big
question there's
difference.
manipulating going on.
Oh yeah,
But
And
at
lobbying.
the same time, if just like Biden got 80+ million people to vote for him, and the other guy got 70 million. 10 million difference. Okay. So if the majority of the people are ready for a change, and if there's a candidate talking about the changes that make sense to you, that's going to benefit you, John Q. Public, then that's who you vote for. And then hold that person accountable. Don't give him a second chance if he doesn't deliver the first time around. Vote him out. Listen, people talk about limiting the term of how many years you can stay in office. Give them one damn shot. One chance to make it right. If it doesn't, then got to go. Same thing in corporate America. If you don't go in every day and do your job, guess what? Your job is over. They fire you. We employ the politicians. We give them an opportunity to serve us. The problem is,
so why are we scared of them then?
I'm not.
Well, not
Me
you,
neither.
but most people.
But
But
I-
the people are
I think
scared
it's
of
more
politicians.
ignorance than fear.
There you go.
I'll go along with that. And also the fact I asked the question, who's to say this country ever belonged to us in the first place? This country never belonged to us and never will be. Right. We thought we have some moral rights. We thought we have some rights in this country when it comes to our politicians, but it never belonged to us. All we are numbers and metrics as far as we go. And that's it. That's all. It's the right thing to take care of your people in the country. As Buck just said, other countries do that. And because of the fact it doesn't belong to us, we belong to other countries. We export everything. There's not too many. Name me a job that's built right here in the United States of America. It's kind of like, slim to none and slim left town. There's not too many you can name. We've seen over the years. I mean, for example, car companies. I've known people like this, people who had families, generation after generation, worked at a car plant. They were able to take care of their families. They were able to take their children and have them go to college over that. It was generational in certain places, certain plants. And you shut that down. What else do you have? You pretty much stop the generational, byproduct of that family. Others, yes, Professor.
We're right next to a city that had, and based on what you were saying, Bass, we're right next to a city that was robust.
Gary, Indiana.
Yeah,
Yes.
right next to it. And once, listen, in the 60s or the 70s, when was that electric 225, the hot car?
Deuce and a quarter, baby. Call it what it is.
And when every that was status, that and the Tornado, but all that steel was coming from right where? The Midwest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's right. Michigan.
Well, when you go back and you read the book Race Riots of 1917, at the time when you had the factory business at its greatest point, the workers, predominantly non-whites, were striking on these companies, and the companies decided to go and start migrating Negroes or coloreds from the South to come work in it, and which built up Kansas City, St. Louis, Indiana, Detroit, and Chicago. And I mean, it still goes on today. These are where the biggest blue collar jobs are as we speak. Now, the thing of it is, see, we have to take the blame, guys, sometimes for this. And that's what the continued conversation has to be about, the role that we play. You see what I'm saying? Now, one of the things, my dad worked at General Motors for 35 3/4 years. He never left off the 3/4 years. He passed away, and I went for the UAW death benefit. It only paid $250. That was it. Okay. Now, you have a situation where one or two things happens. Either he could have gotten me a job at General Motors, or he can take the money that he made and made sure that I got a college education. And see, we have to make these decisions, because when you were just speaking about generational wealth, how do we create it? And that's what's missing in Black America. We seem to not understand what equity really means.
Yeah.
Because equity is not just in the home as a value, equity is in family.
Absolutely.
And that's what we're going to talk about when we start talking about this whole sagging thing, because there's a proposition that's going on amongst our own people of what's important. And the thing of it is, for self-growth, we're looking at the superstars and saying, I want to be like that person, instead of saying, hey, let me find the right person to be with. Let me start my family. Let me do the things that it takes for me to grow personally. See, when you don't understand personal growth and you haven't been taught, see, I had a mom and dad. You know, my mom was a registered nurse. My dad worked at General Motors. He only had an 8th grade education. He was mad at his dad in Columbus, Mississippi, because his dad took him out of school in the 8th grade and made him sell fruits and vegetables in downtown Columbus. But
That
my
was
grandfather,
common, though, back then.
yeah, that was common. That's what I was getting ready to say. And the thing of it is that 40 acres and a mule was a part of his game. So he got the acreage. He had to grow plants on it and vegetables, and then turn around to sell it in order for him to survive. Right now, we're having a clogging of the generational growth in our society, because this new generation that's out here has taken their minds, or they've never been trained to take their minds for growth as far as personal growth. It's popularity, it's TikTok, it's social media, it's all the things that everybody recognized. Did you see me? You saw me when I was doing a little dance the other day, and I was made. See, when you start making these things important, what you're wearing, what you're doing, where did you go? That's where we're having a problem. And then there are other races that we're surrounded by that they get it. They're making it. You know, they are working the system the way it's supposed to be worked. Going back to what you guys were talking about, the politicians and the money they make. When John McCain passed away, his yearly budget was $900,000 a year. His yearly budget.
For what?
For him and his staff. So you're paying people that write the writers who write his speeches. You got people answering the phones. You got all kind of people at 900,000. How many of those? Well, he was a senator, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay. How many people in the Senate? 40, 50?
50.
So it's 50 people in the Senate making $1 million. That's $50 million right there.
No, it's 100. Sorry.
100 million. That's right. It's two.
No,
Yeah, so
100 people in the Senate.
There's 100 people in the Senate, so that's
Plus the
100
vice
million.
president.
Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And so it goes back to what you guys just covered a few minutes ago when you start talking about occupational wealth, because that's a whole nother part of the situation. You got to pay. You want to be paid for what you're worth. Now, the problem that we have when you go back to talk about supporting number 45 goes to a sector of people who actually live in fear. Because the moment you get ahead of them, it's a problem. And I told you guys privately, I moved to the country. and hold on, Professor, I moved to the country, and out here I'm seeing poverty at a very, very high level, and it ain't this that's impoverished. That's why they follow this guy, because they are scared to death. They're living in homes. I've never seen so many homes out here that have window air conditioners. I haven't been around a window air conditioner since I was probably in the 8th grade.
Oh, New York.
No,
New York.
No, I didn't have. I lived in a house.
You lived
that
in
had
Jersey. That's why.
Yeah. Well, I'm
New
saying,
York.
but
a lot of them.
seriously,
Yeah.
you know, these are the things that you got. The trailers that you pull on the back of your car or homes for people in trailer parks down here. They're living in that.
Lots of them.
Lots of them.
And sometimes they might have an acre or 10 acres or 20 acres and got this little bit
They got this little trailer sitting on it.
raggedy trailer.
But see,
Not
that's
a
the
nice
equity.
one.
But
Right.
But see, that's the equity because they got the property. Then all they
Right.
have to do is go breed a couple of horses or cows, and then they get the tax abatement. See, they're
That's
working
right.
the system, but they're working it in fear. That's why they want to build the wall, because see, you brought the Mexicans into the country to do your work.
Yep.
I have 4 houses. I'm looking, not had, but I'm looking at 4 houses being built in front of me. I don't ever see a Caucasian or an African American on the job. It's all
Of course.
Hispanic.
Well, what do you expect?
No, I expect to see everybody on the job.
No, you
I
don't.
came up where everybody's on the job.
No,
But see,
nowadays you know what
you
the
don't
deal
see.
is.
Well,
Yeah.
but see, the thing of it is, that's because we're chasing occupational wealth. You're chasing it because you're trying to be rich. You're trying to see. They don't care nothing about getting rich quick. All they care about is a 24 pack at QT or racetrack. Go into QT or racetrack about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And all them construction workers are walking out double fisted with 24 cases. Go ahead, Professor.
Oh,
Professor's like, what was I going to say? I don't
wait a
know.
minute, man, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I got it. You know, we keep talking about this fear, right?
Yeah.
And we want to point to the fear mongering, right? To this last president. We need to go back actually several more decades and give it up to one of the other former presidents, who was a Reagan. I mean, you know.
Yeah.
Ronald, the Gipper.
Yeah. You know, because
Old
that
Gip.
has been, and then we could even actually take it further than that, because that fear strategy has been going on since the gold H2O. When he tried that Southern strategy, that fear thing, that's a leading thing. So what's the solution though?
Who's gold H2O?
Barry.
Gold water.
Oh, I thought you Barry Obama. I was like, well, Obama? I don't get it.
Barry Goldwater.
Who's that?
But Professor, you're absolutely correct. It didn't start. I'm not saying that it started. I'm saying that it's really see.
I mean, it's on steroids. It's them
right there. You
now.
go. It's on
Listen,
steroids because of social media.
Yeah, you know, and I got that. But how do we counter that? Okay.
You got first thing is we have to vote.
Mm-hmm.
It's really that. I mean, that's where it starts. If
They trying to make that difficult, especially down here in
when
Georgia.
you look at
That's why it's a priority in so many states. They know that is the key. That is the key.
Abrams gave you the freaking blueprint.
Yeah.
Who did you say?
Stacey Abrams.
Oh, yeah, don't say that.
Big Mama.
Oh Lord.
In
you you don't like Stacey?
I love her, man. Don't say
Oh, okay.
She brought it to the table. It worked.
Yeah.
She brought it to the table. It was a
She
simple
did.
plan. All you had to do is go out and vote. You can beat. I'm telling you, they're sitting there
That simple.
scared to death. And all they want is somebody that'll say, "Hey, you need to do this, and you don't go for that plan." The Biden wants to do 3.5 trillion to fix the bridges and pay for entitlement and turn the Cabini Green into condominiums and blah 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 blah. And see, when they hear that, they become afraid.
But listen, and all of them folks that benefited, that's talking that fear, they benefited from that when FDR rolled the dice the same way.
Of course they did, but they want to keep it going because they're losing it.
Yeah, see, the politics is in control now.
Yes,
they're playing politics as opposed to doing the right thing for the people.
Politically corrupt.
But here's where the Republicans are just stupid. They will stonewall, sandbag, and say no to everything a Democrat wants to do. Then they get back into power and they don't do it. That's what's stupid. That's plain ignorant.
That's because you go to a magic show and really believe that the guy pulled a rabbit out of his hat.
Right.
Yeah.
And when 45 was in, they had both the House, the Senate, everything. And they still couldn't get nothing done.
Yeah, they tried to get a health care plan together about 100 times,
and they still
100 times it failed.
And
because it's flawed, they really don't want to do it.
Well, though, with 45, I mean, you couldn't really expect him to do anything because he wasn't a real leader. He was just a clown in office.
But the point about politics was that the entire Republican Party had control. So if you are the controlling party and you've got the president's ear, you can go sit down with him and say, this is the direction we need to go in. This is what we need to accomplish. Mm-hmm. And they went to go see him.
There was a mess though, dude.
Yeah, but
they were a real dysfunctional family at that time.
Yeah,
they still are.
They wound up on the golf course. He spent more time on the golf course while he was, in office and didn't accomplish anything.
I have a feeling for his green fees.
I have a feeling that the professor's about to say something good.
Kenny, no, don't give me that much credit. But listen, if we can just take the paper out of it for the politicians, see, because that's what it's all boiling down to. Because they're just lining the coffers of their own pockets.
Why is lobbying legal?
Yeah, well, that's and until that gets attacked, there's nothing gonna happen. Because all of us are victims of one of the most lobbied bills in the history of the American Congress, that Telecom Act, right?
Right.
Yeah. So once the money is regulated or controlled, if
no longer important.
Yeah, and that's right. And then a lot of people won't run because you don't run to serve the people. You run to get rich.
Right. That's what I said. $912,000.
Yeah.
And you got 100 people making that kind of money. Yeah. Now he wasn't making 912 himself, but just think about the staff. You get a chance and think about this for a minute. What you just said, Professor. Once you become that person, anything you do is paid for. If I wanted a favor from Lee, he was Senator Lee Michaels. If I offer to take him to lunch, I'm not gonna make him pay for his own lunch. Right. He ain't paying for his own dinner.
Yeah, they do a lot of sneaky stuff though too. Like,
well, they don't have to be sneaky. If he comes to speak,
when I say sneaky, I was just gonna say they'll have a speaking engagement and they'll pay him big money to speak.
They're gonna pay for his room. He's gonna tell them he only sleeps in the international Hyatt, whatever.
Yeah. A lot of them, what they do though is they'll write a book, and then the lobbyists will buy 1,000 copies of the book, and that's
to give away. Yeah,
okay.
I mean, it's a game.
A senator in a House of Representatives makes $174,000 a year.
There you go.
Now, the president pro temp makes 193, and the majority leader in the Senate makes 193,400. Okay, so tell me this: if you are a senator, let's just say a regular senator, you're not one of the leaders. You make 174,000, or a House member 174,000, and you're there for 10 years. Tell me how you come out of office worth 20, 30, 40 million dollars. Explain that to me.
You write a book, you have speaking engagements, all kinds of shit that just, I mean, it adds up.
You do what Mitch McConnell is doing.
And
Or Strom
your investments. You know,
There it is. That's what Mitch McConnell did.
Inside trader.
Inside trading.
Well, we don't call it that, Mr. Michaels.
Of course you don't. But we're just speaking.
But that's what
openly.
it is. Okay. Yeah. You got people coming to their office all the time telling them about what's new, what's hot. It's like the batteries that are running these cars now. That's a big deal. These lithium batteries, that whole technology. Do you think most of the House and Senate members are not invested in that stock?
Right.
They were invested in it before we even knew it was available.
Exactly.
Before it was available,
exactly.
They had their hands in it, and they gave the green light for it to happen. Okay?
Politically corrupt.
Yeah, I like that.
Exactly.
I'm gonna steal that, Mr. Michael. I'm gonna steal
it's
that.
yours.
Thank you.
For a small fee. I need you to pay for my green fees. I'm going to need you to take care.
We'll talk after the show. We'll talk after the show. We'll talk after the show.
All right.
I'll send you some wine. You know,
there'll be no corruption on this show. Damn it!
Remember that movie, The Distinguished Gentleman, the Eddie Murphy movie.
Yeah, I was going. Yeah, that's it. I was getting ready to say.
You get ready. Sorry, man.
Yeah, you took it. That's all right.
Hey, great minds think alike, though.
Go ahead. You roll with it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, I'm done.
Oh, that was it. No, you roll with it.
All right. It's a little after 7 now, so let's get into a different topic now. I know Mike Love, for the first time, has come up with 3 different topics he wants to deal with.
Well, now.
So Mike,
showing
do you
off,
think, Chicken Wing?
Well, I'm troubled by something that is vastly growing, and I see it now more when I have to go out and when I choose to go out and do Lyft ride sharing, and so that takes you all over the city. You are not in control where you go to pick up people unless you set the destination, and they only give you 3 destinations when you're online to pick where you want the areas that you want to go in. Okay. Now, the thing of it is, there are places where there's a bigger concentration of medium to low income folks that live different than folks who live, high on the horse, as they say. Mm-hmm. And for some reason in these areas, you see a lot of this sagging that has become very popular amongst young African-American men. And, when it first came out, they were talking, we saw the rappers, we saw Eazy-E, we saw all these, a lot of the West Coast rappers really were pushing it more than the East Coast rappers. Curtis Blow didn't. I've never seen Curtis Blow with his pants hanging down, or KRS-One or Chuck D, but a lot of it came from the West Coast. And the thing of it is, they said it started in the prison system to let another male prisoner know that, hey, it's just us in here. And if you need, some relief, I can help out with that. I'm available. Now, we've gotten past that point of the situation, and now it's turned into a style. And this style seems to be picking up popularity at a very high rate. The problem is, what does it really achieve? Because even though it's coming off as a fashion statement, it doesn't say that when you see the sagging that the guy has on Louis Vuitton underwear, or he's got a Saks Fifth Avenue belt. What you're seeing is an aggressive way for young Black men to advocate quick and easy sex. And it's an attack on our young women in society because it's called easy access, baby. And we've got to get a hold of it, because when these young men come to your house, mothers, ladies, grandmothers, when you're not at home and they see your child, your daughter, your granddaughter, or a relative of yours, they're trying to have sexual intercourse.
What?
And basically, it makes it very easy to have sexual intercourse with someone who's young and experienced when they've never been put in this position before. Now, I'm a very transparent person. And when I was 13, 14 years old, and I wanted to have a sexual experience or just thought about what it was like, there were a lot of steps that you had to go through. There's a lot of sneaking you had to do. You had to go over in the corner. You had to go somewhere. You had to do this, that, and the other thing. And you didn't find too many situations where there were no parents. There was no parental supervision. If you went to a girl's house, somebody was going to be asking you, who you related to? Who's your mama? Somebody was always asking questions. Well, see, that doesn't happen now. And so what's happening is these little slick guys are coming on these young girls, and it's an impressionable place to be when the most popular guy in the neighborhood is at your house. So you call your little girlfriend and you go, Malik was over here the other day. He said he liked me and stuff. And, he got me this and he did that. And, he getting ready to be a rapper because, that notebook he be carrying. Yeah, he said he getting ready to get a record deal and blah, 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 blah. Now, all of a sudden, you're under hypnosis as this little girl. And so he comes over and he's like, yeah, what I'm saying, I want you to be mine and everything, but, I'm real busy and everything. So I don't have a lot of time, to be, trying to date you and this kind of stuff. We just need to go on, do what we got to do. So we know how each other feel and that kind of stuff. And the next thing you know, he's having sexual intercourse with your daughter or a relative in your family or someone in your neighborhood that's unprotected by parental guidance. First of all, and definitely unprotected by some kind of prevention from pregnancy. And so now he gets your daughter pregnant and 2 or 3 other women pregnant. On top of that, there's a popularity. We're seeing it right now with an NBA star and one of the Kardashians who's out here pregnating women. I won't say at a high rate, but at a consistent rate. The NBA players are very close to our millennial men because, the teens and college guys or young men, let's say in their early 20s, want to be like these guys. They're out there playing basketball. They're on the court. They're doing everything. Everybody's watching them. And the thing of it is that popularity is turning into irresponsibility. Because once that girl gets pregnant, who's going to take care of it? Who's going to take care of this child? And it goes all the way back to what we spent an hour talking about, that we're being fought against in our own community by other races. It's called entitlement. Because the moment your daughter gets pregnant and you're the homemaker, you're head of household and you're a single parent, you got to go get food stamps. You got to maybe live in public housing. You need some kind of general assistance so you can survive. And so the other races are upset because you're utilizing the money that could be going for the growth of their community or other things that they think that the government should be doing with these funds outside of giving you food stamps. Right now in the food stamp program and general assistance, they're even giving away free cell phones. So you can call in to respond to unemployment or your needs for these entitled goods. And we cannot be at the head of this proclamation of destruction, because the first thing that it does is it destroys our community. It destroys our reputation. It takes us down. And for some reason, as African Americans, and I just want to speak directly to you ladies and gentlemen out there about popularity. I've been in the radio business for 45 years. I know what popularity is. I've been popular before. And it makes you feel real good when somebody wants your autograph. The first time that happened, I was in Philadelphia and somebody asked me for my autograph. And so this gratification that comes on you makes you do things or make you think things about yourself that are not really true. But somebody is saying, hey, you the man, you the one, you this, you that, you this, you that. And you start taking it for granted. And then all of a sudden you start taking for granted that you're taking advantage of other people. And that's what has to stop. But see, it can't stop because there's another auspices of people out there who are saying, I can make money off of that, what you're doing. And so they're promoting and they're pushing you to put yourself in this situation to be irresponsible and to make everyone else who likes you to become irresponsible. We cannot have these irresponsible motives going on in our neighborhood because it tears us down. We have to educate. We can't duplicate, we have to replicate. We have to increase our value. We can't let somebody tell me that I'm going to be a rapper when I know I'm smart enough to be a scientist. There's a bigger play. But see, the thing of it is, when somebody wants to make money off of you, they're going to talk you into walking off the side of a cliff so they can make money off of you. And that's what's going on right now. The eyelashes, the nose rings, the tights. Another thing that I put on the subject that I wanted to talk about is us being in public wearing house shoes, slippers. Why are we wearing those in public?
That's
See,
so ghetto.
it's so ghetto. And see, what they're doing is they're making ghetto a style. It'd be different if you didn't have any shoes.
And
If that's all-
pajamas.
Yeah, pajamas. Why are you out in the public doing this? Because you saw someone on a rap video doing it? That's stupid. That's ignorant, and it's got to stop. It's
A little
got to
lazy
stop.
in there too.
Say that again, I'm sorry.
A little bit lazy.
It's a lot lazy
Yeah.
because it says that you don't care anything about yourself. Self-value is what got Elon Musk to where he is, Jeff Bezos to where he is, the Walton family to where they're at, and the list goes on because it's about self-worth. The self-worth is not you prostituting yourself to marketing that makes fun of you or takes something from your community. Self-worth is what you believe you can do and be successful at it. It first starts with an education. The second thing is an image. How do you want people to receive you and look at you and see value in you? The most important thing is not asking me for my autograph, but respecting what I do as a broadcaster. I don't want you to pat me on the back. Thank me if I helped you. Lee can tell you this. When you do ride sharing, they send you a report every week. And they tell you, you know, the good, bad, and the indifferent. I'm a 5-star. I'm gold and silver. I'm going to send it over to you, Lee. I got to find it in my phone. But someone put in the comments that I saved their life. I don't know who it is. I don't even know what I said. This was just last week. It was in the comments on Lyft. I picked up somebody and they said, I saved their life. Don't you want to save somebody's life? You can do it. But it starts in here with you. Save your own life before you start trying to rescue somebody else. Think about what you can do to be a better person. Being the father of children is an ultimate responsibility. It's nothing to be played with. When you shoot the gift, and if you don't know what that means, it means to get someone pregnant, you giving them the gift of life, you got to stand with it and stand for it. If you don't want to be a father, don't shoot the gift. if the least you can do is protect yourself. When I was coming up, I'm 64 years old. In my teens, there was no aisle in Walgreens or SS Kresge or any of those stores that were convenience stores at that time. There was no 7-Elevens then that you could go in and buy magnums and condoms. They were called rubbers. And the only way you could get them was in old, dirty service stations, or if someone had one and they passed it along to you. You can prevent this random sex that brings children into the world that you're not prepared to take care of. We have to do it collectively. It's not an individual process. We have to get away from these ghetto tactics of trying to be popular and taking this popularity and taking advantage of someone else's life. If you bring a child into this world, you got to be prepared to take care of it. Teach it, love it, and feed it. God gives each one of us purpose. And I'm ashamed to say that a lot of us are not standing to that challenge. I can't make you go to church. I can't tell you to be faithful. That's on you. You have to do that. You have to find that in your own spirit. But what I can tell you is foolishness don't pay off. And wearing your pants hanging around your ass is straight foolishness. Let's take it back to the panel.
Mike Love, you laid it out, brother. Good stuff.
Absolutely.
Very, a lot of inspiration. I just hope if you can just save one more life.
Absolutely.
One young person to have heard that message, and I hope it rings a bell in their head and reaches their heart and bring them into the right space, because that's what we need. We need some young men to become men and understand what manhood is about. The challenge, the responsibility, and the liability that comes along with being a man.
Absolutely.
Sometimes you think you're a man and you end up being a father, dad. There's a difference between the dad and the father. So think about it.
You got out in that truck. Lee's son drives an 18-wheeler, and you go out on the road with him and support him. That's got to be one of the loneliest jobs out there, to be in that truck. You know, you were right by my house when you and Corey came through, and you saw 30 East is packed with truckers.
Yep.
And you went out there and rode in this cab of this truck with your son to make sure that he delivered his packages. Mm-hmm. He got everything, and he got home safe.
Yep.
You want your kids to come home safe. You want to know when you got to work 2 jobs that your kids are at home safe. If you got to go get you one of them Ring cameras and put at your door, because see, back in the day, all of us that's on this panel, it was a man with a shotgun sitting on the porch.
That's right.
Where you going? Who your mom? Boy? They had 15 questions. You wasn't walking in there slanging and dangling.
You didn't get in.
You didn't get in because somebody was watching. There was a neighbor across the street. A neighbor would tell your mama.
Mm-hmm. You could be down the street and around the corner, and before you got home, Miss Mabel will have called your mama.
Called your mama.
It said, "That boy out here acting a damn fool."
Somebody was in your house, girl. Mm-hmm. While you was going, I saw the little girl. She went in the house, and I was gonna go over there, but I had to take care of my husband because he's invalid. But I just want to call you and let you know some kids was in your house early today, and you told me you don't allow no kids in your house when you.
They were in there all day. That happens.
Yo, now how long were they in there? Maybe they were in there for 1 hour and 47 minutes.
Oh, you know all of it, right?
Had the timer on them.
That's right.
You got the timer, but she couldn't do anything.
But it goes back to the old phrase: it takes a neighborhood to raise a child.
That's absolutely. Right.
Yes. You know what I mean? And that's what was happening back in my day. You know, the neighbors helped raise me and my 2 sisters that were older than me. And everybody knew everybody, man. Everybody knew everybody. We all went to the same school, same church. Our doctor lived down the street on the corner,
There
directly
were
across the street
professionals
from.
in the neighborhood.
Yeah. And his dad was the high school principal. And across the street from them was where everybody, all the women went to go get their hair done. And then directly across the street from where we live was the man that owned the grocery store that was over on the side street. And that was my first job, working with Cap Facin. He was a captain in the army, and they called him Cap Facin. His last name was Facin. The lady and man that lived next door, they worked for the government. They worked out at the naval base. The man on the corner, Mr. Wallace, we thought he was white. He was real light skin, had white hair.
So like Ron.
Yeah, kind of like Ron. But he took care of his wife. She was in a bed all my life. I never saw this woman outside. Okay. I used to cut his grass. I had a little power lawnmower my mama bought from Pep Boys. I think it might have cost $59. That was a lot of money.
A lot of money back then.
A lot of money.
A lot of money. So I had to pay her back cutting grass for the neighbors. And then directly next door to Mr. Facin was Langley. Mr. Langley worked for the post office. My uncle worked for the post office. They were buddies. They were in a social club together. So they all knew each other, and they knew our kids. And directly next door was what was her name? But anyway, we knew everybody in the block, and everybody went to the same church. And if you didn't go to the same church, we knew the church you went to. And there was two girls that live across Rugby Street on West Avenue. I grew up on West Avenue in Norfolk, Virginia. There was three good-looking ladies that lived in that house, and there was another pretty girl that lived in the house next door to them. But we were all friends. Okay? I took one of my friends to her prom because her and her boyfriend broke up like a few days prior to the prom, so I was a stand-in guy. Her name was Valerie, and I had a crush on Valerie. Okay? And her mother knew I had a crush on her, so she hooked us up. Valerie and I were in a competition at Mount Olive Baptist Church in a beauty contest. I won.
Well, when you prettier than a girl, wait a minute.
Yeah, man, I blew her out, man. I raised more money. Yeah, I raised more money. It was all about the money, okay? So, but that's the kind of neighborhood I grew up in.
Yeah.
Now, Valerie ended up marrying the guy that she broke up with. They got back together after the prom, okay? Yeah, I put pressure on bro.
You didn't do it right.
I put pressure on him. He had to come back.
He was being used, but that's what women used to do back then. The same thing happened to me at the Junior Achievement Cotillion. I ended up taking a girl that broke up with somebody. Right. You ain't getting none. But you're going to be my date. You're going to be on the picture. So when that picture's sitting on the dining room table, the piano, you learned your lesson. And she ended up being with the other person. It happens all the time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Can I address some of what Mike was saying about taking responsibility of one's actions, because that's basically, how we can summarize it. And I think that part of what we do as men, we try to give influence and direction to those that listen to us or have access to us, and we try and give them the direction to go in to try to improve the direction in which they're going in. And sometimes people, they take detours, but they wind up back on the same road to success where they need to go. Everybody on this panel that made mistakes of probably all epic proportion at the time that the mistake was going down. But we did not allow that epic mistake to detour or, stop you from going to a successful place. And and just as a word of wisdom that can be passed on to young people is, yes, you're going to fail, yes, you're going to make mistakes, but don't let that define you. Don't let it stop you. Keep going, because for like they say, if you got a bag full of lemons, you can make lemonade. Now you got a lemonade business. Take the opportunity of making mistakes to define, what did I do wrong? Where did this go wrong? How can I turn this into a positive to make it a success story? I used to tell young people a lot that would be on the corners out there slinging dope. I say, you got sales skills. You need to get a sales license.
Yeah, that's right. That's
You
right.
need to go down to the dealership and apply for a job. Put on a suit and a tie, go down to the dealership and say, hey, man, I want to sell cars.
That's
Because
right.
cars is a very high commission job. And you ain't going to get 20 years in jail selling cars. Okay? So I would tell them how their street skills would equate to a career that they can definitely use to raise a family and do something positive with.
How'd that go over?
It don't know. It went over well because some people, understood where I was coming to. See, when you show love towards people, people recognize love. You can come at them like you're gonna be a badass, and they ain't gonna receive that.
No.
But if you come to them in love, like, hey, bro, let me talk to you. I'm not here to intimidate you. We used to have a drug dealer that used to be out in front of our church. Okay. And he wasn't scared of nobody in that church. He said, y'all church people, y'all ain't gonna do nothing.
Right.
Okay. So we had somebody come down and talk to him that understood their language. And they came to a mutual understanding, because you ain't gonna stop the drug dealer from selling drugs, but they didn't sell it when church was going on. That was a compromise. And then when somebody violated that, they wound up in jail with all their dope taken from them.
Wow.
Okay. So, we got consequences for everybody that don't know how to act, So,
What kind of dope was it?
huh?
What kind of dope was it?
I don't know.
No,
bro.
meaning like, was it, just selling weed or whatever? I'm just
No, these
trying to
guys
picture
were
it.
selling,
hard stuff?
everything, man. Heroin, crack, weed, everything.
Oh, damn.
This Chicago, bro. The street corners are an enterprise. Okay. You got three guys standing there together. Which one you give the money to determines what you get back. Don't ask me how I know this stuff.
Of course, yeah, Ron.
You're very knowledgeable, Ron.
Yeah, you
How did that
read.
happen?
You read a lot, Ron.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the point that I'm making is that people have entrepreneurial skills that they don't even know what that equates to, and sometimes you just got to help them understand what that equates to. I'm like, if you go sell cars, there's a higher commission. Real estate is next. You have an evolutionary process that you can take with the skills that you have. And that's a page out of the Nation, because I seen Professor put his hat on. That's a page out of the Nation. The Nation of Islam will sell bean pies and newspapers on every street corner.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
And
called a
every person-
kufi, right?
Yeah. And every person that wind up joining the Nation, they gave them a job. These newspapers, you sell them, you get some money in your pocket. You only owe us, if they sell a paper for $1, you only owe us 25, 50 cents. Okay.
Wow.
So they put you in business.
When I meet
I never knew that. I never knew they made money from the sales of the papers and the pies.
Oh yeah, bro.
The individuals.
When I would meet a fine woman who's looking for a job, whatever, I'm like, you really need to sell a high ticket item like those $100,000 copiers. Remember those $100,000 copy machines? It's like you can make some serious commission off those things. I mean, something high dollar like that. That was a good point.
All right. Mike, did you want to do other topics or?
Well, no, I mean, like I said, I kind of threw the house slippers in there. I mean, let me just put the wraps on this. We have to be very, very careful at what we believe is a profiting situation to being used. Our race is being used right now because we sell probably more products irresponsibly than most people actually need. You know, and when you think about that, when you go out, when you look at tennis shoes, when you look at athletic gear, when you look at all these different things that we put emphasis on that we can rarely afford.
Oh, you mean buy? You said sell. Okay,
I mean,
was like,
buy.
okay.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. But see, and that's what I'm saying. I don't mean us buying it. Well, we buy it, but what I'm saying is that we promote it. See, we're being used to promote styles and different things out there that don't benefit us in the long run. Sometimes it's not good for us intellectually. It's not good. It's just bad all around. Why are we doing it? Going back to a lady was in the car today and we were talking about this whole thing with the sagging. She was trying to convince me that it was all about their belts that they had. I said, ma'am, are you crazy? And I didn't use that word. I can't remember what I said, but it was basically, ma'am, are you crazy?
About 20 years ago, though, belts were really popular. Everybody had a different style of belt, but not now.
Yeah, but you could lift up your shirt and show your belt.
Yeah.
No, they got something else that they trying to show you. Period. And it's an irresponsible play. And when you turn around and you let these companies believe, or you let these see, it's the power of being an influencer. If you influence someone to do something, you want something good to come of it.
Like money in your pocket. That's what influencers want.
Or if it helps somebody.
But I'm saying that's why everybody wants to be an influencer nowadays.
Oh, yeah, because they want to get paid.
Yeah.
They want to get paid. So that's why they do it.
And it's not easy, though. Just for those who think that it's easy to go on one of these social media platforms and get, 1 million subscribers, real subscribers, not fake ones. It's not easy. You got to work at that. That's a full-time job. You got to dedicate a lot of hours and time and effort into it and know what you're doing. Let's see. We got the show is coming to an end here. Chris, you had a topic you want to jump on, right? Or have we done?
Yeah, no, I'll do it real quick, but let me say this before I move forward. After listening to what Mike said and the passion and the connectability that he has, Mike, you are your last name.
Thank you, brother.
Lots of love. I give you that.
I love you back. I love all of you.
Love you more. As Dr. Ron once told me, I love you and a damn thing you can do about it. So I'll take that. Well, it's just once
Thank
again,
you,
when you hear stuff like that, it's just the meaning of why we're all here.
Mm-hmm.
So MSNBC's Rachel Maddow asked the one question concerning last year's January 6th insurrection. What did Fox News's channel's Sean Hannity know that made him so worried? This was the quote from Rachel Maddow. It is interesting that they appealed to his patriotism, meaning 45, and asking him to give information to the committee. I don't know. This is going back also to Sean Hannity. I think regardless of the party, regardless of cable news outlet of your choice, all Americans would like to know what Mr. Hannity knew on January 6th that made him go to the White House or text the White House. I am very worried about the next 48 hours. This is what he texted. What did he know about what was going to happen that made him tell the White House staff and chief of staff that made him so worried? The January 6th committee has the text that reveals Sean Hannity was talking to Trump, Mark Meadows, and Jim Jordan. In other words, Sean Hannity knew what was going on. Right. So when you have this platform, say like a Fox News channel, and you preach patriotism, and you preach America first, and you preach, you preach being proud Americans. And what more situation where if the country or the erection or surrection, that's what you call it, or both, how you get excited about that, and then not get excited about it, then turn around and say, "Well, I was worried." And again, you had texted the White House Chief of Staff on January 5th, the day before the insurrection. And it's amazing how people pick and choose their fights. Sean Hannity's been known as the Trump whisperer during his time when Trump was in office because he had his ear. Trump would go through his daily stuff, and then afterwards would call Sean Hannity on a nightly basis, as documented, and asked him, "How did I do and what should I do tomorrow?" This is the president talking to a cable news host, but that was the person he admired. That was the person he went to for information. Rachel Maddow, to me, is one of the most fantastic broadcasters of our time. She preps 8 hours to do a 1 hour show on MSNBC. She is lights out fantastic. And you cannot take that for granted. I remember hearing about Rachel Maddow. She was doing Air America, and that's what be the network that goes up against the conservative right radio. It didn't do well at all. But the fact that I was able to listen to her from time to time, like she comes from radio, and I was like, man, she got it. So when she made the conversion over to cable news and went over to almost, almost what she did, she was in competition with, I think it was CNN at the time, but went over to now MSNBC. They're the better for it. And so over time, she has shown in her ratings, she actually beat Sean Hannity at one point, actually beat Tucker Carlson. So her rhetoric, her style, her program has now been into play. So when this happens, it just shows you that people gravitate to what they know. They gravitate to what they want to listen to. It's not always about, Fox News or OAN or anything else that's ran by right-wing, rhetoric. It's not about that. Other people subscribe to other type of philosophies as well. But again, when you look at the subscription of someone like a Rachel Maddow, to me, it has merit to it. To me, once again, I reiterate, 8 hours of prep before you hit for a 1 hour show. And when I got wind of that years ago, I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That's somebody's job, 8 hours. So I'm not taking anything away from the other hosts, but I'll just gravitate towards that because me, myself, I prep 3 hours before I hit the mic. But 8, ooh-wee. So that goes to show you the dedication that she has for the program and for the public. You don't have to believe her. You can go check out for yourself what she says, and she'll back it up. And her quotes and her ability to have people come on the show are credible. So again, when we hear about this, you say one thing and you do another. You say that you're, once again, going back to the conservative right, that you're for the country, that you're for America. And you would think that being American, you don't want destruction. You don't want people to come to, the insurrection that happened January 26th. You don't want that to happen. But again, you're dealing with, at the time, and still is, a madman who told his people, I'm going to march with you. He didn't march not near way. And got his minions and his disciples all fired up and went to January 6th to do, the insurrection. I would like to be wrong, but I don't think Trump do any time. We have no time between now and 2024. I don't think he'll go to prison. I think there are people in place and people in power that want him to run for the presidency again in 2024. So remember all the things we talked about, all the things we heard about, all this, he's going to be on trial and he's done the government wrong. And even in New York, he's done this, he's done A, B, and C. I've not seen anything that go near it, the people that actually went after it. It's just a dog and pony show. Going back, you said about a magic trick, Mike, and the whole, pulling the rabbit out of the hat. The first rule of magic is to create a plausible diversion. This is what's happening now. This is what happens all the way because it's seeing one thing on one side of the table, but the other hand is doing God knows what. And as Mike Love would say, I throw it back to the panel.
Well, I hope you're wrong. I hope that they are surgically undressing the entire Trump organization and will bring him to the court of law and prosecute him finally for all the wrong that he's done. And if we don't do that, then another president will be above the law. And no man should be above the law. Period. But that's how I see it. Because if I do something wrong, I'm going to be held accountable. I want him to be in the same position. You can't be the leader of the free world and be slippery and get away with damn near murder. And in some cases, I blame him for hundreds of thousands of people who died from COVID that didn't need to die if he had done the right thing early on. So that's my take on it.
Yeah, you're 100% correct. They're doing the dog and pony show. They're telling us this, they're telling us that. And in the processes of wheel of justice is moving so slow, it gives you the impression that this ain't nothing gonna happen. So I mean it's theirs right before our eyes. Go ahead, Professor.
I just have a question. Where is the cry, or where is the demand for the current? I mean, from the people to the current people in office that these type of things needs to be changed. If this man is skirting or doing whatever he's doing, then those things need to be looked at. Those things need to be, the redress, and they need to fix it. Because, keep, as long as this man can use the system or whatever they can keep delaying all of this stuff, and it's going to keep us talking about this stuff, and then we hoping and doing all this stuff. We still, it's like the ship then dropped anchor. When the ship drops anchor, all it does, the boat will just go in a circle. It's not going to go forward. Are we going to pull up the anchor and then force the politicians or ask that laws be changed? It was 80 million people that was against whatever that the previous regime. So there is a majority, and anybody that still subscribes to that, then they need to be put out of office. The people will rise. We can rise, and we got to stop. Well, he got to be prosecuted, all that stuff. Change the law. Change the law. And make it so this man could, or anybody like him, can never have that opportunity to run or be a president again. There has to be some different type of criteria. You understand? Because this man was a president select. He was never elected. He was put there for a purpose. He was put there for a purpose. And once he whatever, then they don't need him no more. They don't need him no more. So,
Professor,
whatever.
how's all this change gonna happen?
I beg your pardon?
I said, how is all this change gonna happen?
Man, it got to start from the people within first. It has to start at the bottom. It has to start with us. We have to demand the accountability from the people that we've elected also. Listen, people historically, when people, even in this country, when we were upset with the British, what did we do? It was a revolution. The French, when they got tired of them people, what did they do? When the people get tired, obviously, we're not tired. Obviously, nobody's tired. We're still accepting this. We are accepting it. Obviously, we still want this the way it is. I mean, that's the obvious thing. Oh, we can't do nothing because they keep doing it. Listen, when the people rise up, change happens. The question is, when are we going to rise?
That was my next question. When is that going to happen?
Right. Listen.
But see,
I'm not no crystal ball, but I can tell you that historically people have rose, and what caused them, I can't tell you that. I don't know.
but see, that's the message that Trump was preaching to his followers, and they took his words as we need to go in and take over this house because they did us wrong.
Oh yeah, I mean, but that was for evil. That was definitely for evil. So, Buck, there's the answer to your question. So it takes a different type of leader. Okay, but who's really leading this country now? I mean, it's like it used to be a game show. Who do you trust? I mean, who do we trust? Who is actually for the people? Who is actually for the people? We can't say that any politician is actually for the people because they're getting paid. They're getting this other money from somewhere else. And as soon as it comes to them getting more dollars, they're going to cut us out. And then they're going to give us a pipe dream, something to argue about while they're getting rich. I think I'm trying to think of this quote. I'm trying to think of this quote, and it's going to probably come after we shut down, but it's like everybody's playing a game on the people. While they're profiting, we're steady getting played. And until we rise up and say, look, until the people revolt within themselves. But that's going to be really hard because, the black leadership is fragmented all over the place, right? You don't know who. And then if it's anybody that comes up that has sort of like a Messiah-like presence, he gonna get got. That's historical. So then we can't depend upon no one Messiah no more. The people just have to come together and go forward.
And I submit that we're too apathetic.
Well, I mean, like I said, but when you get tired, it's just like an alcoholic, not talking about you, or that's just like anybody that's in any type of addiction. Once you get tired of doing that, or once you get tired of doing or working in that thing, you'll change. The question is, are we tired? Are we tired of getting done? And I'm not sure we are. I think we like getting done.
So, Buck, is that what happened tonight? You got tired? So you decided not to have a swig? I'm just asking. I mean, I
didn't have any. If I had some alcohol, I would have been drinking it.
Well, that's what.
Oh, is that what you're talking about?
No, right. That's what I'm saying. Did you get tired? Is that why you didn't have it? Did you get tired? That's what I'm trying to go back to connect the dots with what he's saying.
It's too cold. I didn't feel like going out getting that. It's too cold.
Okay.
Damn.
It's cold in Atlanta.
Man, it's 30-something degrees outside right now. 38 degrees, getting down to 29 tonight.
It's 29 here now, I think.
We got 29 below. How's that?
Well, I'm out here in the desert.
Wind chill.
The temperature is 51 degrees in Las Vegas.
Wow. Yeah. Getting away with murder.
Yeah, man. I'm digging it.
Well, look, I know we got to get out of here, but I do want to piggyback off of what your rant was in the beginning, Lee.
Yes, sir.
Today is January the 6th, 1 year after the original attack on the Capitol. And they've called it everything but what it was. They said it was a tourist, visiting the White House. They've called it everything but what it was. People have died. There's been over 700 people arrested and took pleas or going to trial dealing with this. They said they got 350 more people to be accountable. They made a statement on this week that everyone that was involved in this will be prosecuted. Everybody will be sought after.
Sure, they
I
will.
saw a news report on this week with 3 of the Capitol Police that are still suffering from what took place on that day, and they made the statement that every time they return to the scene of the crime, it does something else to them. That's a crime scene. So, it's a lot of pain and hurt that have taken place. Today they had prayer in the chambers. All the people that were afraid for their life, mostly Democrats,
Where's
not
Nancy Pelosi? Where's Pelosi?
right. And only 2 Republicans honored the prayer today when they met in the chamber, to support that. And they said that they did not agree with the way the Republicans are dealing with this situation. They're refusing to acknowledge that what took place took place. So I know it's time to go, but I just wanted to say today is the anniversary of what took place a year ago on the Capitol grounds. And, people need to wake up and smell the coffee.
Listen, you are never going to get a drunk to tell you that he's a drunk.
Yeah.
And those people were drunk on whatever that was.
The Kool-Aid. The Kool-Aid. They drank the Kool-Aid.
They was drunk on that. So, man, listen. Good night.
It is frustration, very frustrating, Professor, and I feel your emotions on that, and I think we all do. Let me say this again. Thank you for being a part of the show. All of the people that tuned in tonight. Without you, we won't be inspired to come back again. And you guys keep showing up, so we will keep showing up. And we love you. Share, like, and subscribe. Tell your friends about us. Let's grow the channel. We're in the growth mode now. I want to take us to Roku and some of the other television streaming networks. So help us get right. Okay? Send us your comments and criticism. Tell us what you'd like to see. I know one thing I've gotten several requests is they want to get a female in here, and I don't have a problem with that. So if you want to be a part,
don't do it. Because Mike, I know Mike will go after Buck because Buck will start hitting on the woman, and then we'll all have controversy stuff like that. So
not if she ain't attractive.
It'll change the whole dynamic of the show. Lee. I gotta
think he's slick. As long as she's not attractive.
Yeah, she's not attractive, right? Yeah.
I caught that, man. I was like,
don't get no ugly woman.
Yeah,
hey,
do
get
it,
somebody
Lee.
ugly.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
all right, I'll start another show. How about that?
There you go.
Because look, if a woman walks into the barbershop, all the men stop talking. Yeah,
That's interesting.
Fact.
Well, maybe we need a
Talk
woman
about
in there right now, so we can wrap the show up.
And I saw that in that movie, Chris Bates, 5 on the Black Hand Side.
Yes. That's right.
Jerry Andrews say you have to get 2 women. Why 2, Jerry?
Oh,
To
no.
balance it out a little more.
Yeah, balance it out a little bit.
Yeah.
Balance.
I mean, that would be cool for them to come in and we have a lady in once a month. Guess. I mean, depending on what the topic is about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think even the topics we deal with, there's a female perspective. We do have female, viewers. So
Start a
we
separate
must be
program
doing
with
something
all female.
half-assed right, at least.
Yeah, start
Anyway.
a show with all females. Lady,
Maybe we
I'm-
could,
I'm
you know what?
telling
Maybe we should
Okay.
pay one.
Pay one?
Pay one to get on here. Yeah, yeah.
No,
Oh,
see,
there you
no,
go.
Good night.
oh, man.
$20 if you're fine.
Yeah, there you go. Like, go, Professor.
Good night, y'all.
Good night.
Yeah.
Good night.
Yeah, look, shout out to Al Greer, our brother in broadcasting. He been
Yes,
shouting
sir.
us out all night. Yeah.
Brother
Ooh.
Dr. Al Greer, thank you for tuning in too, brother. We'll see
Yeah.
you on the microphone. God bless to all and good night.
Peace.
Hey.